Professor Christine Morris from the School of Histories and Humanities. Christine is the Andrew A. David Professor in Greek Archaeology and History. Her research focus is on the Aegean Bronze Age, but she has particular interest in ceramics, art and religion, gender, and digital technologies in archaeology.
Okay, thank you very much. So my digital by design presentation is called Reframing Archaeological Practice Modules Out of the Field into Digital Worlds. And it's based around materials created in the Department of Classics by the team of archaeologists, myself, my colleagues Hazel Dodge and Yorgos Papandreou. So archaeology is the study of the human past through material remains, objects, sites and landscapes. And of course it has a strong practical and experiential dimension. So it's not hard to see that we had quite a lot of difficulty adapting to the pandemic environment. First of all, even in term time, moving online meant that we couldn't do practical things as shown on the screen, handling objects, looking at our coin collection, and our students couldn't go in person to museums. At a larger scale, we have modules which take place over the summer, which are called archaeological practice modules, and I've bundled them together as being in the field. And it might mean being in the field literally, so doing digs, surveys. It might also mean museum internships and experiencing landscapes and sites through study tours. So the way that that's normally done is the student goes off and does something. Here are our students sitting in Greece at the theatre in Epidavros, and they do the activity and they keep a learning reflective diary. They come back to us, one of us mentors them, and they develop a personal project based on experience. And what I always say is what spoke to you when you were doing the thing, and we build a project around that. None of that was possible during the pandemic. So how did we respond to the challenge? Well, we built virtual fieldwork activities. Our second year students engaged with structured interactive dig materials made available online in other websites. But for our third year students, we developed a new activity which we called Cityscapes. And it's based around two ancient and modern cities, the cities of Athens and Rome, which you see on the slide there. So how did it work? So what we did was we invited our students to travel virtually from their armchair or their kitchen table and to explore either Athens or Rome. We provided content, and the content was a range of different digital materials, and very deliberately we pitched those with different tones and approaches. There were some scholarly talks, there were quite a few online walking tours at street level on foot, and they were not all by people with expertise. And then there were 3D digital reconstructions, including flyovers and digital museum tours. And on the slide, on the left-hand side, you see the Colosseum, and that's a screenshot of somebody actually walking around talking about it. And you might recognize on the right, this is Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed, Odyssey, with its educational materials based around Athens. So we tried to keep the materials rather diverse. The task: choose a city, then choose at least 2 of the online resources and to use those as a way of exploring, digging into the city and its ancient remains. We did provide prompts of focuses, but we were not prescriptive. We did want the students to lead and come up with their own ideas for a focus if they wished. So choose a focus and then comment critically and creatively on how effectively the chosen resources enabled them to engage with the themes. So some of the themes are there below, things like topography of the city, things like experiencing the ancient city within the modern city, which of course you can do more easily if you go there. How did it work? Well, we were pretty happy with it, although we can see ways to improve it. We got really creative and engaged responses, things like, well, you lose the multisensory when you're not in a real space. Some people felt they did get a profound sense of the place. And a couple of interesting ones were the idea that by dovetailing, say, the street walk with the 3D, that gave the most rich experience. And a really interesting one was the idea that the digital over cleansed or romanticized the experience by not being there. So a range of responses. What will we bring forward from it? Well, I think this and other digital activities that we created will certainly blend more fully into our learning. We're definitely not snapping back. We would hold on to the idea that being in the field in our subject is important, doing field work, handling objects, walking through the ancient city. These build skills, they stimulate the senses, and they develop experiential perspectives. So we're looking forward, hopefully this summer, to our students and ourselves being physically out and about. But the big takeaway is that we are committed now to maintaining and developing these virtual activities as parallel alternatives then, because they offer a flexible, inclusive and accessible way for some of our students to engage with the past where they can't get out and about. So we're going to stay out in the field and in the digital world as well. Thank you.